creative tools. So we're going to look at some of the creative tools now in the piano roll, continuing on this theme, and we're going to work on this bass part that I just recorded using a MIDI keyboard. Now one of the very first things you can do, of course, is come through and edit manually using your tools. Again, we have a double note here, so I'm going to right click on it to erase it, and then the rest of them are okay. The bass part can be really tight, and right now it's not very tight at all. Let's listen to it. Needs a little bit of work. So what we're going to do, of course, is do a little quantization. A quantization is the process that takes the notes we have and moves them into the grid of the actual song. So if I play something out of time, it allows us to automatically move things into the grid itself. And in this case, we could use a little bit of that, pulling in and making it tighter. So we have under tools, we have quick quantize and quantize, and you'll see that it pops the grid up, and we're going to 100% quantize the start time, although we can change this, and you'll see it changing back and forth. And then we can do a duration quantize as well, which I think it's fine if we do 100% quantize. But we could also leave the duration or leave end time, quantize duration, quantize end time, etc. And then we also have some levels we can quantize as well. So we're not going to touch any of this right now. This is a little bit more advanced. I just want to adjust the timing. So let's hit this button, and now hear how it sounds. And actually, in some ways, that's not even as good as the original, so we need to go back through and do one more pass at it and find out exactly what was happening. First of all, let's zoom in to just one section here. This will be a good indicator. Now, because there's a little bit of a groove to it, there's going to be a little bit of process here to get this sounding good, yet tighter. Okay. So for instance, let's come now and do the same thing, tools, and instead of going 100%, we're just going to do a 50%. So that first part's a lot better actually now, because we didn't pull it all the way into the grid. We let it have a little bit of the original feel, and yet it's a little bit better. So some other things we can do here, and let's actually now, for the sake of this, just select this beginning part, because whatever we have selected is what's going to be affected. And we can come in here and we could say some things like arpeggiate. We can flip and randomize and scale levels. The arpeggiation won't work with this particular sound because it's not really something where we have a lot of overlapping notes, and that's what we need. However, we could do some interesting things with flipping. So we could flip horizontally, or we could flip vertically. So invert the part. So that becomes a little bit more interesting as we do that. And you can see we have some other options here. We could also just undo what we did. That's fine. I think we should do that first. And pull that back. Okay. We can also do some other things here. We can strum and flam and limit. Randomize is always kind of fun. That allows us to change the octaves and notes and everything going on inside there, and usually comes up with something pretty fascinating. And let's do the pattern. You can see here, or we can just change the levels a little bit, change the panning of the notes we actually have, the velocity, randomize the velocity, the release velocities as well, and we can even change the pitches a little bit if we wanted to. So very interesting set of tools here, a lot of creativity allowed in the piano roll itself. One of the most unique and powerful piano rolls of any program out there. I would say some of the tools here are just some of the best that are available. Anyway, just a brief look at that. Again, as we get into some more advanced projects, I'm going to actually demonstrate specific areas of each of these things to give you an idea of some of the more powerful features. But right now, with Project 1, we're just getting into this, just doing introduction to everything. So I think it's a good time to move on to the next section.